Tom has a reputation of sleeping around with everyone. He soon realizes he has feelings for his best friend, Hannah, but she asks him to be her maid of honor. During a Halloween party at Cornell University in 1998, a man in a mask is searching for Monica. He finds the keys and enters the dark room. He takes off his clothes and gets into bed with the wrong woman. She freaks out and sprays her perfume on him. With his eyes hurt, he explains that her roommate Monica told him about the keys. She also claimed Hannah would be in the library because she is a geek. When Hannah is done hitting him with a pillow, she burns her hand with the coffee cup. Tom claims he has been working on an invention called the coffee collar to prevent this. She knows he is the senior who preys on all freshman girls. He promises he is genuine and offers to show her the coffee collar in his room. When she asks why he's hitting on her, he claims he's responding to her doggy bowl look. He thinks women get the same look a dog gets from his bowl when they're attracted to someone. She's offended he's comparing her to a dog, but he's just being honest. She is majoring in fine arts and studying the golden proportions of the human face. She thinks he has a bent nose and his eyes are too far apart. She also feels sorry he needs to validate himself by having meaningless sex with insecure girls. She knows she would never sleep with someone like him. Her honesty is so refreshing that he chases her. She claims it's something called friendship. She opens the door to find Monica really drunk, who is ready for Tom. She pukes, and Tom asks Monica to get some rest. 10 years later in New York, Tom wakes up with a woman and realizes he is late. He informs her about a rule where he can't see a woman 2 nights in a row. He bumps into Gloria at the coffee house, who checks him out. After he orders coffee, he helps an old lady put a coffee collar on. He explains that he gets a royalty for every one of them as the inventor. Gloria claims she got his coffee by accident and gives it back to him. Back in his car, he smiles when he realizes Gloria has slipped her number. He brings Hannah her favorite coffee at the museum and takes her for lunch. They discuss his weird rules of sleeping with women. When he orders steamed dumplings, she thanks him for taking care of her. Tom explains that the woman in the morning got offended when he was too honest. He wonders if he should start lying to them like Dennis. Hannah has seen Gloria's number on the cup and doesn't think he needs to lie to get women. He takes the number, but explains his rule of not calling her for 24 hours. As they walk to a dessert place, Hannah informs him that her ex, Dan, wrote her another letter. It's been 19 months since they broke up, and Tom wonders if he's asking her to marry again. They play a game where she guesses what he wants for dessert. Just when he thinks she's losing her touch, she guesses it right. He asks for her opinion on a gift, but she doesn't want to go to another one of his dad's weddings. He can't take anyone else because he has a strict rule about family events. When she checks out a purse and finds it's real alligator skin, she thinks the shopkeeper should be ashamed. Tom spots a dog and starts telling him how much he loves him. Hannah thinks he should try that with humans. Tom is conflicted because he wants to be there for his dad. But he knows Thomas doesn't love these women he marries, and neither do they. Hannah suggests that when he knows someone is making a mistake and he can't interfere, he should tell them he's happy they're happy. He knows he can't go through this without her and promises this is the last time he's asking. Before Thomas Sr. gets married to his latest fiancée, Christy, her lawyer negotiates the prenup while they're in the limo. When he spots Tom, he asks if he brought Hannah along. He thinks Tom should marry Hannah and teases him about marrying her next if he doesn't act on it. Christy is his 6th wife, and Dennis, who is his lawyer and Tom's friend, reminds Thomas it will be his 7th wedding after this. Christy's lawyer doesn't let her out of the car till they finish negotiating what she gets, and how many times they need to have sex in a week. Thomas knows something is bothering Tom. He wants him to honestly tell him he's making a mistake and these women don't love him. But Dennis wants to celebrate that they agreed for his terms if he doesn't gain weight. Thomas is glad to sign his current prenup and his last divorce together. Christy walks down the aisle and they all dance when the ceremony is over. Hannah makes fun of Tom because he can't even tell his dad he loves him. Tom thinks Hannah uses the term too liberally. When their order comes, he digs into her slice because she always orders better. He wants to get her lemon one from now, but she needs him to order chocolate so she can take some of his. Christy comes to hug Tom as her new son and spanks him. She wants him to come to her if he has any issues. She puts his hand on her chest to let him know he can think of her as his real mother. Tom gets scared when he notices his dad's patient coordinator. He explains that she's the psycho blogger who is obsessed with him. She has created a website about him, and her latest blog is a detailed description of his face. As he takes Hannah for a dance, he reminds her of how she insulted his face when they first met. Hannah remembers that she lied because he compared her to a dog. Tom claims he only did it because he was trying to sleep with her. He hasn't tried hitting on her after that because he likes having her in his life. When he dips her, the blogger finds him. Tom tries to portray Hannah as his serious girlfriend. But Hannah wants to have her fun and claims they're not exclusive. They keep dancing for a while till Tom realizes the blogger has left and stops. It takes a moment for Hannah to get back to reality, since she was enjoying the dance. Hannah is supposed to go to Scotland for 6 weeks to acquire some paintings for work. He thinks that's great for her career. But it also means he has to spend 6 Sundays without her, which he knows will be very difficult. Hannah gets on a plane and smiles when she looks at a photo of her and Tom. Gary doesn't want to play basketball, but Tom begs him to so they don't have to play with tiny shorts guy. They're waiting for their friend, Paul, but his wife has signed him up for an art walk. Tom is disappointed and they all discuss their opinions on marriage. Felix thinks those opposed to it are missing out on having someone special in their lives. They think Tom gets the best of both worlds by having a friend like Hannah and endless women to sleep with. But Felix doesn't think this will last. He knows Hannah is nearing 30, and she won't always be there for Tom like she is now. Tom calls her up and tries to discuss the weather, but it's the middle of the night in Scotland and she wants to sleep. He misses Hannah and tries to do the things he does with her alone. When he brings one date shopping to the same place, she hates it. He also gets Gloria to the dessert place he goes with Hannah, but she fails at playing the same game with him. He's bummed when he misses Hannah's call when he was in the shower. He can't even enjoy his favorite steamed dumpling without his other date ruining his order. Hannah is stuck in a thunderstorm and surrounded by cows when Tom calls her. The network in Scotland is terrible, and they can never talk properly. She calls back when he's sleeping at night, but he still can't hear her. He orders 2 desserts for himself, but it doesn't seem the same. He notices an old couple struggling with their boat and helps them. The boys notice that Tom's game is off. He confesses that he has feelings for Hannah. Since she is gone, everything feels off. He has also realized there's more to life than sleeping around. At the end of the game, he decides that he'll tell Hannah he wants to be with her when she gets back. Hannah wants Tom to cancel all his plans that night. She misses him and is excited to fill him in on everything. He picks up some flowers before dinner. He's excited when he spots her at the bar, but soon realizes she is not alone. He bumps into a waiter and they fall down. When Hannah comes to check on him, he claims the flowers are not his. She introduces him to Colin and starts narrating the story of how they met in Scotland. She met him on the day she got stuck in the storm. She saw him coming out of nowhere riding a horse. He claims he needed to help a lady in distress. He then took her to an inn and got her the most awful dinner. But they spent the next month getting to know each other. When it was time for Hannah to leave, Colin didn't want to lose her. So, he got down on knee and asked her to marry him. They're having an intimate wedding in 2 weeks in Scotland. Hannah thinks if Tom was getting married, she would expect to be his best man. On that note, she asks Tom to be her maid of honor. Tom is so shocked that he bumps into the same waiter again. Felix finds his situation hilarious. Tom has asked for some time to decide about the maid of honor situation. He also hates that Hannah keeps looking at Colin with so much love. Felix thinks being her maid of honor will be the perfect cover to be around her all the time. He suggests Tom can use this time to show Hannah that she's making a mistake by marrying Colin. Tom doesn't think he should do it, but Felix reminds him he doesn't have many options. When he meets Hannah as her official maid of honor, she informs him about her other bridesmaids. He already knows Stephanie, who is very nice to him. He doesn't know her friend Hillary, but is excited to meet her. But her third bridesmaid is Melissa, who hates him because he broke her heart. He claims he was honest with her too, but she punched him and broke his nose. Hannah knows it'll be awkward, but Melissa is her cousin. She has also wanted to be her maid of honor since they were 5 years old. This is another reason why Melissa may hate Tom, but he promises to keep the peace. All the bridesmaids are happy to see Hannah, but Melissa makes sure to ignore Tom. They all discuss how dreamy Colin is. When Melissa asks someone to pass something, she refuses to take it from Tom. As Hannah leaves to receive Colin's call, Stephanie thinks they need to start planning. They just have 9 days before they leave for Scotland. Melissa has been the maid of honor 6 times and claims she can handle the arrangements. Hannah lets Colin know that everything is going well. Stephanie discusses the bridal shower and the bachelorette. They're all excited about Hannah's trousseau too, but Tom has no idea what that is. Melissa wonders how he will be a maid of honor if he doesn't even know the basics. Stephanie wants to avoid any conflicts and wants them to focus on the wedding. When she asks for dress sizes, they're shocked to learn Hillary wants a size 8. She explains that she's on a special liquid diet till the wedding. She promises she will look amazing in her dress and be happy when she meets a Scottish man. When Melissa taunts Tom about his dress size, Stephanie gets frustrated. She begs them to maintain peace for Hannah, who is finally happy. As Tom is leaving, Melissa hands him Sharon's card. She explains Sharon is a tarot reader who entertained at Stephanie's sister's bridal shower. She claims Hannah loved her and she's only doing this for her. Hannah asks Tom to entertain Colin for the day while she plans the wedding with her mom and grandma. Colin joins the boys for basketball. Tom learns he doesn't know much about it, so he feels happy he has the upper hand. He wants to make Colin suffer as they keep playing. But Colin dunks the ball and apologizes since he doesn't know if they're allowed that. Dennis is impressed and asks him to keep doing that. As Colin keeps dunking, he becomes the new star of the game, and Tom hates him more. All the boys stare in wonder as Colin showers. Dennis suggests he knows a guy who can take out some dirt on Colin. This friend helps him find out everyone's infidelity, and is sure Colin is hiding something. Tom thinks that's a cheap move till they remind him how great Colin is. Tom waits for Hannah and Colin to stop making out when he's dropping him to the airport. He's taking Hannah to a church to meet Reverend Foote, who officiated Hannah's parents' wedding. He wants to come to Scotland to officiate hers too. Hannah explains that Colin had to go back to petition the Grand Council so they can get married. This is required because he belongs to a royal family and is a duke. Reverend Foot mistakes Tom for Colin, but she explains he's her maid of honor. The Reverend asks for some details about their relationship from Hannah. When she doesn't know what to say, Tom steps in and suggests she can focus on the qualities about Colin she loves. He thinks Foot can also take some ideas from Colin to get a better understanding of their shared history. She asks if they can include love at first sight, but he needs her to elaborate. Tom looks around and gets an idea when he spots Modigliani. He explains that Hannah was once dating a guy on Wall Street who asked her to move in with him. This was around the time she became obsessed with Modigliani's work. She thought his painting of a woman holding a baby made her feel more passionate than the Wall Street guy. He remembers that Hannah mentioned she would want to be with someone who makes her feel more passionate than that. The Reverend loves this story for the vows, and he understands why she picked Tom as her maid of honor. The boys are in a mood to celebrate with poker one night before Hannah's bridal shower, but Tom insists they can't leave till all the baskets have been made. Gary and Felix soon get very good at packing, but Dennis feels this is too girly and wants to go to a strip club to feel like a man. Hillary thinks this is the best shower she has been to, but Tom asks her to eat something solid, since she looks like she's about to faint. Hannah is impressed Tom broke his rule about having so many women in his house. He plays a song he specially selected for the party, which confuses her. He also makes her try a starter with too many animal parts, which she throws out instantly. He has kept it because Colin recommended the Scottish delicacy. Stephanie asks people to gather for a gift Hannah received from Colin. He sends her an extremely rare flower which only blooms for a few hours. She recalls Colin had told her he will roam the countryside to find this for her. Her mother, Joan, thinks it's the most romantic thing. Tom greets Joan, but she only remembers that he slept with their maid. Grandma Pearl also remembers Tom as the fornicator. When Stephanie discusses how great the shower is, Melissa comes to ask Tom where Sharon can set up. Tom brags about how he arranged Sharon to entertain since Hannah loves her, but Hannah has never seen her before. He is sure this is a dirty move by Melissa, but there's nothing he can do. Sharon opens her box of pleasure aids and even gives Grandma Pearl some glow-in-the-dark beads. Hannah gets very irritated and leaves. She wants Tom to know she has dreamt about this shower from the time she was a little girl, but everything has been ruined for her. He tries to explain that Melissa set him up, but she feels like there's always some excuse with him. She is sure she made a mistake by asking him to do this. Tom is disappointed things didn't go as planned. Felix assures him that he's still the maid of honor and needs to do whatever it takes. Dennis is shocked his guy couldn't find any dirt on Colin. He's completely clean and even got a Medal of Honor, but they still want to help Tom. Gary has brought some of the best bridal magazines for Tom. Felix's wife also rented a movie to make her the perfect maid of honor once, which he thinks can help Tom. The boys even start quizzing Tom during basketball with questions about his duties. They make it their motto to help Tom steal the bride. Elizabeth from the video wants people to remember that the perfect maid of honor is with the bride every step of the way. Tom has cleared his whole day to help Hannah with her chores. She's impressed by his dedication since he seems like a changed man. While helping her with the china patterns, he has some very useful tips. He also juggles them expertly. He wants to go to linens next, but Hannah has to pick out lingerie for the wedding night. As she tries something, he thanks her for asking him to be her maid of honor. He feels like it has opened his eyes to the idea of marriage. When she comes out in her sexy lingerie, Colin rejects it and thinks she looks cute. He also thinks she needs to cover herself. Hannah shares that this is her last day in New York. She has decided to move to Scotland permanently. It makes sense since Colin is the next in line to take over the family business. But she also wants Tom to know how proud she is, because he has been amazing with her. Tom discusses with Thomas that he thinks Hannah might be better off with Colin, since he's perfect. Thomas is strictly against the idea of Tom giving up so easily. He explains that he was in love only once with his mother. She was his best friend, but he was stupid enough to mess it up. When he tried to fix it, it was too late. And now, he's getting another divorce. When Tom hugs him, he asks him to go after Hannah. The boys drop him off at the airport and remind him to steal the bride. They arrive in Scotland, where Tom finds a dog on the ferry he loves. As they approach the house, the driver informs them that Colin's family owns many houses. Colin gives Joan and Pearl a history of the castle. He introduces them to his parents, Dieter and Mungo. Tom wants to catch up with Hannah in private, but Colin asks to show him to his chambers. A lot of spray goes into fixing Hannah's hair for that day. The bridesmaids want to be supportive, so they claim she looks lovely. When Hannah asks for Tom's opinion, he's speechless. Dieter informs them about a sash that will go with the wedding dress, since it's tradition. The bridesmaids urge Tom to be more supportive, so he makes sure to tell Hannah her hair looks great. Dieter shares that they will play the Highland Games that day. According to tradition, the groom has to prove he's man enough for the bride. If he doesn't win, he doesn't get the bride. Tom takes that as encouragement and decides to play it. Colin and Tom are off to a good start and compete with many others. They are the only two left in the end. The last task is a caber toss, which Tom seems nervous about. While Colin expertly tosses it, Tom really struggles with it. He eventually crushes a car, which leads to Colin winning the game. Colin sings a song for Hannah at dinner and gives her a rose. His aunt mumbles something about the song being written by a famous poet. Hannah doesn't understand her accent, but Colin translates. The aunt wants to already discuss names for their children. The dinner is everything Hannah hates, but she keeps playing along as Dieter brags about Colin shooting the. She even shows her a video, and Hannah claims it is thoughtful of him to do this. When the dessert arrives, she tries to take a piece from Colin like she did with Tom. But he doesn't like it, and cuts one out on a separate plate for her. Tom tries to talk to her alone again, but they get interrupted. That night, Joan brings a scrapbook she wants Hannah to have. They go through her pictures as a kid. When they come across one of Hannah and Tom, Joan thinks her dad was very wrong. She explains that he always used to think Hannah would end up marrying Tom. When Tom calls Felix panicking, he insists Tom needs to rip off the band-aid and directly tell Hannah how he feels. Tom knocks on Hannah's door and takes her out for a walk. Hannah is still confused about her vows. Tom claims he is crazy about her and wants to spend his life with her. But she thinks he's helping her with the vows and feels like it doesn't sound genuine. He takes her hand and shares that she's his best friend. When he claims he always wants to be with her, Hannah knows he is serious. But they get interrupted by the bridesmaids. They want to take Hannah for her Scottish bachelorette party. There's a tradition of taking out the bride who has to be paraded in the bar. Tom is surprised when he learns Hannah's kisses will be sold for change. At the bar, all the men start putting change in her pot and kissing her. As the bridesmaids start drinking, Tom brings his own change and drops it in the pot. He hesitates before kissing her, but when he does, it's much longer and more passionate than the others. As they keep kissing, Hannah drops her pot. But Joan has seen this exchange, and they soon bend down to collect the change. The bridesmaids come again to take her to get more kisses. That night, Hannah and Tom feel very restless. Hannah leaves her room and Tom also hears a knock and opens the door. It turns out to be Melissa, who is very drunk and wants to have sex with him one more time. He keeps trying to stop her, but she strips and pushes him on the bed. Hannah hears the commotion and watches Melissa on top of him. He throws Melissa on the floor and runs after Hannah. She doesn't want to open the door, but he needs a chance to explain. He still needs to know why she came to his room. She claims she wanted to talk about the kiss. Tom asks her to not marry Colin, but she doesn't understand why he's declaring his feelings after so many years. He knows the timing is bad, but his feelings are genuine. Hannah thinks he's only saying this because he's afraid of losing her as a friend. She needs to be with someone who will be there for her no matter what. Since she knows Colin truly loves her and she can trust him, she has decided to marry him. Tom refuses to be her maid of honor and leaves in the morning. The bridesmaids help Hillary get into her dress. When they leave with Hannah for the church, Tom's car stops because of the flock of sheep. When Hannah is in the ferry, Tom spots the dog from the ferry again. While petting him, he realizes something. He asks the driver to turn around. He watches the ferry leaving but asks for another one. There's nothing else available to take him there, till he spots a horse. He somehow convinces the owner to let him have the horse so he can go to the church. Hannah walks down the aisle to take her place next to Colin. Hillary's dress rips when she sits, but a man helps her pin it up. When the Reverend reaches the part about Modigliani and her vows, she realizes something. As the Reverend asks if anyone objects to the wedding, the horse throws Tom into the church. Hannah rushes to see if he's okay and asks why he's there. He insults her hair and sash. He knows he's always honest with others, but kept lying to himself for a long time. He thinks Hannah is the right girl for him and finally confesses that he loves her. She thinks he's the worst maid of honor, but kisses him. Hannah apologizes to Colin and gives the ring back. She lets him know he's the perfect guy, just not for her. He lets her go, but when his aunt wants him to punch Tom, so he does it. Reverend Foot performs a beautiful ceremony as Hannah and Tom get married. When she throws the bouquet, Melissa catches it and hugs Thomas. He's happy to get his wife number 7. That night in bed, Tom switches on the lights to make sure he got the right girl this time.